So when do you think you'll retire? Most people say when they're around 50 years of age because retiring before that seems almost next to impossible. But if you're one of the very few who want to challenge that notion and believe that retiring earlier is possible, you have the fire in you. So do you know what fire is and how it works? Hi, through this channel we help people understand personal finance and how to retire early. If you're interested in improving your financial health, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. It's a way of life that juggles how much you consume now to save more for the future. Following this lifestyle at the cost of living your life on a shoestring just for a few years, you can live the rest of your life without needing to work. Although you can work if you love to, but you don't have to. You can retire as early as when you're 30. Yes, not 50, but 30. But let me tell you up front, it's not going to be easy. It'll take discipline. But think of the benefits. You'll have all your time to do what you love. You don't need to worry about where your next paycheck's coming from. So let us explain it to you step by step. At the heart of the FIRE lifestyle lies the 4% rule. This rule tells you how much money you should withdraw every year during your retirement to make your retirement savings last your whole retirement. Yes, till the day you die. Although it's just a rule of thumb, but the rule does bring some clarity into your life. What this rule says is that you should withdraw 4% of the retirement savings to meet your annual expenses. But how does that ensure you won't run out of money at some point in time? Well, that's possible if you keep your retirement money invested in an asset that earns you at least 4% annual return or more. Sound simple? It is that simple, and we will also tell you which assets can get you that return, but a bit later. First, let us reverse the rule to answer a more important question. If you know you can only withdraw 4% of your savings every year, and you know what your living expenses are, you can back calculate how much you need in your retirement savings. And this is why the 4% rule is so popular. It tells you how much you should save to live off just the interest income from your savings, without touching the principal. And because you leave the principal intact, in a way, you have unlimited money that will last your whole retired lifetime. Now that you know how much you need to save based on the 4% rule, all you need to know is how to save up your retirement fund. This is where the discipline of the FIRE lifestyle comes in that allows you to retire early, even as early as when you're 30. All you need to do is follow a 3-step process. Step 1. Be frugal. If you want to retire early, you'll have to spend less during your working lifetime. Well, even if it's obvious, it's not as simple as it sounds. It takes a lot of sacrifices because you have to imbibe a habit of drastic savings into your lifestyle. So suppose you're 20 now and planning to retire in 10 years. Then you must cut down on all your unnecessary expenses. The less you spend, the more you save. And the more you save, the more goes into your nest egg. To put it differently, if your monthly expenses are more, you would need a larger nest egg to meet them when you retire, which also means you'll have to earn more while you're working, or work longer. Let's bring in some numbers to give you a clearer picture. For every $100 you spend every month, you'll have to add $36,000 more to your retirement fund. Boggled? We'll show you an example at the end of this 3-step process that'll clear all your doubts. For now, the takeaway from this step is that in order to retire at 30, you have to save every penny you can. But the question that now arises is, can you save every penny? You possibly can't because you have to live too. You have to pay for food, electricity, and fuel even if we consider just the bare necessities. So how much should you save, or essentially, how much should you spend? Well, the answer to this question brings us to the next step. Step 2. Save 50 to 70% of your annual income. Again, if you have to retire early at age 30, you'll have to give up on driving a fancy car, taking vacations every now and then, and dining out. But these don't stop your life completely. All these do is they bring down your living expenses to the bare minimum so you can save more for your early retirement. In a way, it's postponing your current consumption to the future. Let's now bring in some numbers. Suppose your annual expense is $20,000. Then according to the 4% rule, you'll need to have $500,000 in your retirement account. You might be wondering how we got this number. It's simply dividing your annual expense of $20,000 by 4%, or simply multiply $20,000 by 25. Also, to be able to just spend the interest income, you must have your retirement savings invested in some asset that earns you at least 4% every year. This way, you'll be able to withdraw $20,000 every year without touching the principal. You might be wondering, what about inflation? Well, to consider inflation, instead of just saving $500,000 as suggested by the 4% rule, we suggest you aim for a retirement fund equaling 30 times your annual expenses instead of just 25. So you should save 30 times 20,000, which equals $600,000. This is $100,000 more than the number suggested by the 4% rule, which can cover for some of the inflation uncertainties. Now you understand why we said in step 1 that every $100 extra monthly expense requires an additional $36,000 of savings? Because monthly $100 spend amounts to annually $1,200 spend, and 30 times that is $36,000. So cut down on every expense you can, because if you're 20 and want to retire at 30, you only have 10 years to save. Now, coming to the verdict of this step. 50 to 70% savings ensure you save up the required amount. It's a drastic saving amount, but your desire to retire at 30 is also exceptional. So, saving 50 to 70% of your annual take-home income becomes inevitable. Otherwise, you'll have to work much longer before you can actually retire. Again, when we look at the example, you'll see how these numbers all fit in. Step 3. Passively invest in the stock market. So, after the first 2 steps, you've somehow made peace with the spending less and saving more strategy. But do you know how long you're going to live after you retire? No one does. And so, if you save now and withdraw later, you'll run out of your money at some point. But what if you still have a long life to live after that? This is what financial experts call the longevity risk. It means that there is a risk of outrunning your retirement savings. This is why you should only withdraw the interest income without touching the principal. And how do you earn on your savings? You invest it in some asset. Maybe you choose real estate, G-Secs, or even equity investment. Although these are good investments, they either require a lot of skill and time involvement, or they give low returns. To avoid both, the 4% rule suggests investing in the stock market. The biggest reason behind this is that looking at the historic trends, the stock market has earned over 8 to 10% average annual return. This is way more than your annual withdrawal requirement of 4%, which can mean 3 things. You won't run out of money while you're alive. Your money can even grow, leaving room for some additional expenses such as vacations, rising costs, and better lifestyle. You'll be able to live through the market downturns because you'll only withdraw a portion of your income. We know this sounds great, but we also know you might be wondering you don't know anything about stock market investing. But you don't need to. You can invest like Warren Buffett in low-fee index funds such as the Vanguard 500. Such funds include stocks of top companies in the market, and so you can earn as long as the market on the whole earns. There's no need to pick individual stocks. These funds are managed by experts, and therefore you don't need to put in much of your own time. So these were the 3 steps of the FIRE lifestyle. Now, let us give you the real-life example that we have been alluding to all throughout this video, so you know that we mean what we say. Suppose your annual income is $75,000. You have no monthly payments, such as student loan, car loan, home loan, and so on. If the tax rate is 25%, you're left with 75% of $75,000, i.e. $56,250 after taxes. Suppose you plan on saving 70% of this amount every year of your working life, as suggested in Step 2. This implies that you'll consume only 30% of it, i.e. $16,875 annually, or $1,406.25 monthly. Does living on $1,406.25 sound impossible? It is absolutely possible, but it's not easy. Like we've told you from the start, FIRE is never easy, but it is possible. If you live in a small home, don't go dining out, or don't travel, you can very well live on $1,406.25 a month, assuming you have no debt. Now, how much you need to save is called your freedom number, and it is 30 times your annual expenses, which is 30 times $16,875, which equals $506,250. If you're spending only $16,875 every year, you're saving $56,250 minus $16,875, which equals $39,375 every year. If you invest that amount every year in the stock market for only 8%, you'll have $570,408.40 in 10 years. Let's run through the math behind it. Go to Google and search for Future Value of Annuity Calculator. Click on any of the search results. We pick Omni Calculator. Fill in the numbers as follows. PMT is your annual contribution to the investment fund, i.e. $39,375. Your interest rate is 8%. Annuity term is the time till you retire. So if you're 20 and want to retire at 30, the time is 10 years. Compounding and payment frequencies are yearly. Type of annuity is ordinary, which means you make end-of-the-year payments. These inputs give the future value of your retirement fund at the time of your retirement as $570,408.40. As you can see, $570,408.40 is even more than the $506,250 you needed in your retirement fund, assuming the more conservative return of 8%. If your return is higher, you can have much more than this and can live more lavishly than you planned. The biggest contributor to this savings is the compounding effect of keeping the money invested. Compounding means that dividends or returns earned during the 10-year period are also reinvested in the market to earn you more income. Without the compounding effect, you will not be able to amass enough for your retirement and retire at 30. Let us show you the numbers. Your annual savings of $39,375 for 10 years will amount to $39,375 times 10, which equals $393,750. 8% return for 10 years without compounding will be $393,750 times 8%, which equals $31,500. Since you don't reinvest a return, your total fund at retirement will only be $393,750 plus $31,500, which equals $425,250, which is less than $570,408.40. But because you keep the returns reinvested, you accelerate the expansion of your principal and amass more due to the compounding effect. So, FIRE works if you're disciplined. It allows you to retire as early as when you're 30, but it requires some drastic savings and reinvesting. And it's not just us who are suggesting this. Many real-life people have done this too, such as Lauren and Stephen, who retired when they were 29, and Mr. Money Mustache, who again retired early and now works on his blog to share his wisdom, only because he loves to, not because he has to.